The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I am here with my co-host and husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How you doing wherever you are?
We are remote today, as you know, due to circumstances completely out of our control. But we thank DC, our producer, for making this happen today. He's incredible and does whatever. He moves mountains for us. And on the line with us remotely as well is Nicole Shapiro, manager of the environmental office with Lackawanna County. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, it is Earth Month, right?
Yeah, April, yes, is Earth Month, and April 22nd is Earth Day. So it's actually the 51st year of having Earth Day, which is pretty exciting.
Well, we're excited to have you here because we're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We've been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab. It's on the mobile-friendly pages and the desktop pages. And you can get a live view of Dunmore Corners, and you can see what's going on right in town.
Exciting, isn't it?
Oh, it's very. Sometimes it is.
Yes. There's mysteries to be solved at some time. So,
that's right.
Yes. And also on jruddy.com, on the radio tab, jruddy.com/radio, you can go and listen to our radio shows or check out our podcast. And all the podcast apps are there. There's over 20 apps. So if you like to do the podcasting, feel free. And also we have them archived on our jruddy.com webpage.
Yeah, my sister said she listens to us on the podcast when she's out for a walk out there on Long Island. So.
Well, it's popular. People like to do it when they're working out, going for a walk, here, there, cleaning their house. So it's nice to have a podcast. Check us out on all social media, and jruddy.com is mobile friendly. Okay, Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. Can you just give me a brief description background on you, please, and the environmental office?
Sure. So I am a Lackawanna County native. You know, I was born here, grew up here, and, from Jefferson Township. And I am a graduate from the University of Scranton. My degree is in environmental science. So, I really love, my position and what I can do and educate the residents of Lackawanna County, and business owners, municipalities, on, recycling, but also, any other environmental topics. We're starting to talk and educate about water and water pollution, but certainly recycling has always been a huge part of this office. So we'll help coordinate, recycling programs for the municipalities and help them, get any equipment through grants. And, so kind of really involved with the public, which I like. I like talking.
So you do educational programs, but your office focuses on the recycling programs, waste reduction, litter, water conservation, and water pollution.
Yes.
And you bring awareness to these items. Okay. So let's start with recycling. And, let's talk about Earth Month. What do you have going on in April regarding Earth Month and Earth Day on April 22nd, please?
Yeah, so what we're doing this year is on Earth Day, I believe it's a Thursday, from 11 to 2 p.m., so 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., down on the Courthouse Square in Scranton on, I believe it's North Washington side. We're just going to have some local organizations come and set up some tables. Masks would be worn, everything would be spread out, and really just kind of getting back into outreach. I know a lot of our local organizations, they rely on volunteers, and, with the pandemic, you really couldn't do anything. So this is kind of going to give them an opportunity maybe to talk to some people, get some information out there. I'll be there answering any recycling questions, and so will the Scranton recycling coordinator. She will be there as well answering some questions for Scranton residents. So it's great, and we're also going to be doing a tree planting on the Linden Street side of the courthouse that same day for a future COVID memorial site, Lackawanna County COVID Memorial. So just a nice day. Hopefully we'll have good weather, but we'll definitely be celebrating, safer and smaller, but hopefully in the future years, we can grow on this.
Well, I think people are itching to get out and start, getting back to events, and outdoor events are the way to go these days because you just don't know. So hope you have a good turnout there, Nicole. Tell me, you mentioned the pandemic and COVID. How has it affected recycling, please?
Yeah, so it's affected recycling across, I would say the world, but here in Pennsylvania, more specifically, Lackawanna County, a lot of programs stopped last summer for a little bit. I know that the Lackawanna County Recycling Center, or the Lackawanna Recycling Center, I apologize, they stopped taking any bottles, jars, and cans. I believe it was a couple months, and they started back up in July or August. And that was because at the time, everything still is hand sorted at that recycling center. So when the CDC first came out and said the virus might be sticking to containers, that was kind of a big worry because those items are hand sorted. So any towns that went to the recycling center, they had to stop collecting, glass bottles and jars, plastic bottles and jars, and your metal cans, which really, we have such a great county. Our residents are fantastic recyclers. So for them, that just did not, it didn't work good.
I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like every time they threw out a can in a bottle, I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I didn't know if I should just keep it in a bag, set it aside for a future time because I didn't know when it would resume. But that was very upsetting to me because we do recycle at my house. So
yes, we had a bunch of overflowing containers and then I had to hear about, oh my God, we have so much. I was like, oh well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's what we talked to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection to, see what's the best way to go about this. And they just said, if, just try to store them, keep them clean. You don't want to eventually have it turn into like a health risk, anything growing on the container, the bottles, jars, and cans. So just that was the best option we had for everybody. Now, if people had a private hauler, which would be like JP Mascaro or Waste Management, their programs, I believe, still continued just because they take all of their recyclables out of county, to other places, and they might have had different, they might have been following different guidelines. Or they have robots and conveyor belts that they don't hand sort anything.
What are common misconceptions about recycling? Like, let's talk about recycling basics, do's and don'ts. What can be recycled? What can't be recycled? What's with the numbers on the bottom of the containers? Jackie was asking me. We were
going to recycle some stuff, and she was unsure, and she was looking at the numbers on the
Well,
box.
I have reached the age with even my glasses, I can no longer see the small numbers. So I asked him to tell me what the number was on the bottom, because to me, I was always told if it's a 1, 2, 3, it goes in the recycling can. If it doesn't have 1, 2, 3 on it, then it doesn't go in the recycling can. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, so plastics, that's a really big problem, I would say. So on the bottom of plastic items, there is the recycling triangle with a number. And so, I would say, 95% of people would think that means that item is recyclable. But what it actually means is that number represents the type of plastic it is made from. So there's a whole bunch of different ones, and number 7 is actually other. So if an item has a number 7 on it, it could be who knows what. It could be tons of different like plastics. So how we educate here in Lackawanna County is by shape, not number. So what we say is if a plastic item is, you would consider it a bottle or a jar, or even sometimes a jug, because you had some people called milk jugs. That is okay to put in your recycling bin. But, then you're saying, well, then you have your cups and your containers, like your Dunkin' Donuts cups. Well, anything that is a cup or a container, I would not put in your bin, because especially here locally, if you go to the recycling center, there's no infrastructure right now to separate all of those different plastics. All of them have to be separated out in order to be processed, to be made into something new. So when you have, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different plastics, you can see how large of a space you would need to sort all of those out.
So you're telling me those plastic cups with the iced coffee that you get from Dunkin' Donuts, you're not supposed, those clear plastic cups, you're not supposed to recycle those?
No, not in our area. I mean, if you can check with your if you have a private hauler, some residents do. They might have slightly different rules, but generally, no, they're not.
So if it is in, say, a large amount, if, say, a plastic cup like that was infiltrated a lot of different plastic containers and glass jars, is that whole bundle then disqualified due to contamination?
So if it's just maybe 1 or 2 in a load, that can easily be picked out. But if you have more than 50% of that load of recyclables, it's garbage, there's tons of food residue, then it would just be impossible to sort everything out, and it could end up being thrown out, the whole, even if you have some good stuff in there.
Right.
So
okay.
That's why it's really important to, if you're not sure, it is better to leave it out of the recycling bin, or you can always give us a call.
Right. Okay. Do you field a lot of calls?
Yes. Yes, we do. And that's a good thing, because people really
want to know.
Double check.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the questions that you're often asked, because this is your audience now, Nicole? You have everybody here. Well, not everybody, but let's say you can avoid a few.
3 of us, anyway.
Yeah, right. So you can, what is it, something that's a common question that comes to your desk every day or every week?
So a big one is a lot of people have been cleaning out, their basements, especially a lot since people are home. So big question I get is paint. Almost every day I get someone asking about, I have a couple cans of paint. And so for paint can be disposed of, with your trash collection, but you want to have it solidified, whether it's leaving the lid off of it, in a well-ventilated area, or you can add paint hardener. You can get it at the hardware store, kitty litter sawdust, shredded newspaper. So as long as you get it to be solidified, you could put, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 cans out at a time. Don't overdo it. But it is safe to dispose of, and a lot of people just, they want to double check on that because, it is paint. And I just ask, don't pour anything down the drain. Just get it to harden, and it could be disposed of. So that is like a big one. And battery.
All right, I gotta stop you right there. I love the idea of I never heard that, putting kitty litter in the paint. I use kitty litter in my garage for when I have a spill of oil or something. That never even dawned on me to take that and to put it in the paint can and solidify it that way. I just wanted to go over that again because we've been doing this show 10 years. I never heard that. So, all right, that was a good one.
Yeah, and
what else you got? Keep them coming. You're doing good.
Appliances. People will have like old appliances. Most scrap yards will take appliances, or even if you are a PPL customer, sometimes you could do a rebate program with them. They'd actually come pick up, depending on what kind of appliance you have. They'll come pick it up, and you might be able to get a rebate. So that's what I have been getting. Electronics. I know you're all probably familiar with those. Unfortunately, places are just drying up that take any electronics. If you have small electronics like gaming systems, laptops, computers, most of your big electronics stores or office supply stores will take them. But anything like a TV, currently nowhere in our county will take a TV unless it's a newer one and working. You can donate it. But if you have an old one, you'd have to be traveling out of the county to get rid of it.
What do you do with it then? Take it in your backyard and smash it up, and what do you do with it?
Don't do that. No, I don't think people know that there's, especially in those old TVs, there's so many different, there's like heavy metals and chemicals, and if you smash it up, you could potentially, breathe it in or be exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to see are more collection events in the future for electronics. But, yeah, I tell people, you can hold on to it. If it works, sometimes you can donate it, or, you can take it, you can travel. There's a couple places outside of the county that will take it. And the reason why it's so hard is because of I don't know if you were familiar, we have an electronics recycling law here in Pennsylvania. It's called Act 108. And it essentially just makes it difficult to recycle these items.
So, right, I did read that on your website, and it said to contact our Congress people and ask them to overturn it. Is that what you want us to do?
Fix it. Yeah, it came into effect in 2013, and it basically put the responsibility on the electronic manufacturers for essentially like having a quota to pay to recycle these materials, and it was based on the quota that they would have to put toward is based on weights sold 2 years prior. And people are recycling heavy, old electronics. But electronic manufacturers are recycling they're making lighter items. So it kind of doesn't work. So, yeah, we say, they've heard from me. Our representatives, the Pennsylvania Congress has heard from me. They want to hear from their constituents. So, we say call your representative, ask them to fix the electronics law. It's a problem all across Pennsylvania.
Yeah, seems to be. All right. Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. How does someone reach your office, please?
Yeah, Yes, so our number is 570-963-2017, and that is a direct line to me. And then we also have a Facebook page. It is the Lackawanna County Environmental Office, and a website, which is recycling.lackawannacounty.org.
Thank you, Nicole. Pat, would you like to review a listing before we go to break?
Yes, I would. If you need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with an in-law suite with an additional bedroom and a bath and a half, take a look at 629 Herbert Street in the Manuka section of Scranton for $199,000. This home has a new deck. It's got a fireplace, a lovely backyard, a sunroom. It's got a built-in garage. It's got a lot to offer. So that's a spacious Manuka ranch with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths in the main house and 1 bedroom and 1 bath with an in-law apartment with a kitchen and a living room at 629 Herbert Street for $199,000. And that's listed by Phoebe Keating of our office.
Thank you, Pat. Our market is still outperforming pre-pandemic numbers, and that's the real estate market throughout the country. And many people attribute that to the historically low inventory of homes available for sale. But after 2 months of modest gains, sales of existing homes in February fell 6.6% when compared to the previous month's numbers. And they're also attributing that to higher prices, rising interest rates, and winter storms. The sales overall are 9.1% higher when compared to February 2020. Sales fell in 3 of the 4 major regions from January to February, but remained higher on the annual basis. Sales in the Northeast were down 11.5%, and the Midwest dropped 14.4%. The South saw sales fall 6.1%, and the West region saw a rise of 4.6%, and that was from January to February. But it was also a 12.3% jump in the West from existing home sales during February 2020. Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be back after a very brief break.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
We're back.
We're back at a remote location with Nicole Shapiro.
We're at a secure remote location.
There you go. With Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Lackawanna County Environmental Office. Hello.
Hi again.
Thanks for being here with us. We appreciate it. And so we're talking about recycling, and you are the manager of that department, environmental office, and you do a lot of educational outreach regarding recycling. So what other items can we place in our bins other than plastic, cans, glass, and jugs that we talked about earlier in the show?
Yeah, so we have our plastic bottles and jars, and again, the occasional jug, aluminum, and steel cans. So your soup cans, your soda cans, coffee, steel cans, your glass bottles and jars. So anything, glass that had like food or beverage in it. And then paper, so paper fibers. So we have, office paper, junk mail, magazines, newspaper, cardboard, which, ever since the pandemic started, everyone's been ordering online. So we've seen a lot of cardboard being recycled, which is fantastic. So those are our paper fibers also to go in the bin. And so depending on where you live in the county, you would put all of these items in one bin. That's called single stream recycling. So your plastic, aluminum, steel, and your glass and your paper would all go into one bin. And, it was created because it's more convenient for the resident, right? That, you don't have to be separating anything. But the issue with that is there could be some contamination. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you don't rinse out your bottles and jars or, fully empty them, any of that food or drink or something, if you have shampoo or detergent, that's going to get all over your paper when it's all thrown in the same bin. And, when you take that paper out and you want to recycle that paper, well, it's all, it's covered in food or greasy and wet. And so you can see just from there why that would be a problem. So if you have single stream recycling, please, rinse out any of your containers. That's if I could give one bit of advice, that's a good one.
I remember a heated discussion in my house regarding me rinsing out containers.
Really? I have no idea what you're talking about. We have the cleanest garbage in the county.
See what I mean,
Our
Nicole?
garbage is the cleanest. We don't have those peanut butter jars going out with peanut butter in them. They're clean enough to use right out of the garbage bin. But the one thing I wanted to say to Nicole that she brought up that in case people weren't listening, was those clear plastic cups that was similar to the ones I would get like at a coffee shop with my iced coffee. Those do not get recycled, correct?
Correct.
What about styrofoam? Because these takeout places love their styrofoam, and I wish it was outlawed because I taste the styrofoam in my food. But nevertheless, we get takeouts how many times a week since the pandemic, and so it comes home in the styrofoam. Can that be recycled?
Yeah, no styrofoam. I don't think any of the haulers or the recycling center take styrofoam. There is a business in our county that does, so it's Anthracite Recycling and Auto in Scranton. They actually have a pretty nifty machine that can condense the styrofoam, and it's kind of made into blocks to be reused.
Wow.
So other than that, though, don't put it in your curbside bin.
Where is this place?
It's in Scranton. It's called Anthracite Auto and Recycling.
I think it's on West Side.
Okay.
That is a business. I really applaud them for getting this equipment to, actually do something with the styrofoam, which is fantastic.
How about this week? You have an event coming up. Let's talk about it. And let's remind the listeners, if it's a great day, beautiful day, come on out and see you guys. Where are you going to be and what are you doing?
So we're going to be on Earth Day, April 22nd, down at the Courthouse Square in Scranton on the North Washington side from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Myself and a few other local environmental organizations will be out handing out information. We'll talk about any upcoming events. Mask will have to be required when interacting, with anyone who is coming out to do some outreach. And it's just going to be a fun day, just a little nod to Earth Day.
And you're planting trees, a COVID memorial at the square as well?
That the same day, we're going to be planting 2 trees on the Linden Street side of the courthouse, and it's going to be a future site, the Lackawanna County COVID Memorial. So we're kind of going to be dedicating a spot to those who are affected by this pandemic.
Great stuff. Nicole Shapiro, manager of the Environmental Office at Lackawanna County. We appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us. Would you come back next week?
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And I want to shout out and say hello to John Harvey, who is a loyal listener. John, I'm going to go slower with the times as per your request. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate and 94.3 FM The Talker.